While not putting an exact amount on what is being spent on government's food assistance program, Minister of Social Services and Community Development, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, says simply that it's a lot. Griffin spoke to Rotarians of West Nassau today, outlining the modernization of the food assistance program. The minister said they expect to roll out another segment of the program in a pilot phase by June. It's called the Conditional Cash Transfer.
A program whereby I'm designed to modify human behavior, which means that instead of just doling out assistance, we now have a program based on an educational and health condition that families will have to adhere to if they would wish to have an increased amount added to their base social assistance. Each family will qualify through the proxy means test will get a base amount of social assistance.
As of Monday past, the minister said 2,642 people were given prepaid Visa cards, and another 2,700 will be assessed at the final location on Horseshoe Drive when officials head there to distribute the cards, moving away really from food stamps. Now, Minister Griffin said the amounts loaded on the cards range from $84 to $189, and that happens every month. However, during this modernization of the process, the minister said a number of instances were uncovered where the system was being abused.
We have found sometimes that a person had been deceased and the person who was their agent did not advise us until at least a few months afterwards, I think up to 5 months afterwards. People who have moved out of the area and have not told us. And we found that there were some people whose situation had changed since they first started on the card. For example, they might have been unemployed, but they became employed and they found employment and they never advised social services.
The Bahamas Telecommunications Company is responding to ERCO's decision following that unplanned network outage over a 15-hour period back in March of 2014. It affected BTC's landline and mobile services. ERCO found BTC in breach of its individual operating license and have ordered the company to pay a fine of $1.5 million. Since that incident, BTC says it launched power plant improvement works in April last year, and while that project is at 95%, it will be completed by next week. BTC also notes that it is reviewing the ERCO report to determine how it can make further improvements to the networks and systems.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. All systems are a-go for the staging of the Grand Bahama Agribusiness Expo. The event, scheduled for Friday and Saturday, March 27th and 28th at the Old Gumbe Park at the rear of the International Bazaar, is designed to improve awareness of the importance of moving towards food security and at the same time focus on business opportunities in the agricultural and marine sectors. The official opening is scheduled for 11 a.m. tomorrow. In other business news, Nassau Airport Development Company has appointed Deborah Colby to the position of Vice President of Operations, effective April 1st, 2015. She is the fourth Bahamian named to an executive management position. Colby joined the company from its inception in April 2007 as Manager of Operations. In her most recent position of Director of Terminal Operations and Passenger Facilitation, she held responsibility for the Operations Center, customer experience, cleaning, landscaping, and signage at the Lynden Pinling International Airport. And in international news, German sportswear firm Adidas has outlined a turnaround plan in some of its goods in Europe rather than Asia. Adidas hopes the changes will help to make new products available more quickly, as well as increase its net income by 15% a year by 2020. The firm is keen to stop rival Nike eating into its market share. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.
It's just under 2 months left to go before the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival makes its debut here in the country. And today, two local promoters are emerging to host a series of events leading up to the much anticipated festival. Local entertainment promoter KO Productions and Alpha Sound say they plan to make their Survival Weekend concert on May 1st through the 3rd one definitely to remember. 10 local and 10 international artists have already been selected to perform at the Soca Explosion. CEO of Alpha Sounds, Trevor Davis, says this event will not only boost the economy, but provide employment for many Bahamians.
I want to let persons know that this is not just a one-time thing, but this is something that our company has decided to go and do events going forward in the future, just for the mere fact that we see that at this point in time in the Bahamas, with all the entertainment starting to pick up and opportunities for businesses, opportunities for local artists to perform, opportunities for us to hire bartenders, waiters, and even the sound and stage people is now at an all-time high. So we just want to embrace this opportunity.
Now, Jamal Mortimer from KO Productions says KO Productions will be taking entertainment to the next level, hoping to blow away the public with what they're calling the Fete of all fetes.
May 1st, we would have our Soca Fest, where we would have we feature local and Caribbean soca artists, and we also want to make this event as interactive as possible for our patrons. We want to have survivor challenges. We're gonna have all the amenities that's needed to have a good and successful event. On Saturday, May 2nd, we're gonna have the Fete of all fetes. It's gonna be a fun party with hype and local DJs. We'll have local Bahamians, we'll have local acts, we'll have 2 popular Caribbean soca artists, and in the Fete of all fetes we're gonna break it down into two zones.
You know about Fete.
Oh, don't worry about that. That KO Production one sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Can't wait for that. Are
Well,
you
I'll
taking
see
me?
you there.
I was about to say, you're taking me, right?
And it's an accepted fact that the cost of living in the Family Islands can be rough. Food, housing, utilities, and gasoline costs are generally higher for Family Islanders than here in the capital. With this in mind, the Price Control Board touched down in North Andros to get a first-hand look at what residents are calling an unbearable situation. Our Andrew Barrows tagged along and files this report.
I'm looking for the government to work with these people to see that what they could do to keep the price in control or keep it in range for the poor and the have-nots.
That's just what brought Chairman of the Prices Board, Dr. E.J. Bowe, and Chief Inspector Eula Gordon to North Andros this week. With dozens of stores to inspect, long distance in between the stores, and only one inspector to carry out the work, Dr. Bowe and his team were welcomed by Androsians who were looking for a break from what they call outrageous pricing.
The time we stepped off the plane, people were complaining about how things so high here in North Andros.
Focusing mainly on the price control breadbasket items and the items on the extended list, inspectors scoured the shelves of stores and mini-marts in settlements and neighborhoods looking for violations. They found what they were looking for, but for residents, the limited choices and high prices leave many of them feeling bitter and exploited.
Even with the normal prices before the VAT came into play, but now that the VAT is into play, I think that it's truly ridiculous.
The people in Andros, some of them just taking their own concept of prices,
I think some of them can be a bit lower, but at the moment they are reasonable, especially Mr. Woods.
Not so, according to the inspection, where the store was found to be in violation on 26 items. The violations range from unapproved markups on price-controlled items, double pricing on the shelves, or no prices at all. Locals say this is a common problem all over the island where things are just starting to get better.
The items is being in the stores and you go to the store and you don't see no price.
The majority of the persons around there don't have jobs. But yet, like I said, we being charged double for things that I know I could put my hand on a weekly basis that I would get from that store.
In many cases, the markups were well above the approved level, and this prompted Chairman Bowe to leave a special message for wayward shop owners who may be taking advantage of the one inspector in the area.
once any member of the team or myself return, and if we were to find one item above, that's price control item above the ceiling, he will be hauled before the court, because this is really outrageous. It's too much.
Bowe says his next visit to the island won't be to inspect, but to prosecute. Andrew Burrows, ZNS Network News.
The board has conducted inspections on a number of family islands and will continue to do so, according to Dr. Bowe, until all store owners in the Bahamas are in compliance with the price control regulations.